Hey guys, I'm here today to get into the 1999 film Bringing Out the Dead, directed by Martin Scorsese. This is his final collaboration with writer Paul Schrader. And one of my, it's a grand masterpiece, I believe. This is one of the most underrated films ever made. This is never talked about hardly ever, but it's like, I feel like there's a very loose trilogy between Taxi Driver, After Hours, and this. This is like a 90s aesthetic of New York, which is like completely, they're all different completely visions of New York, but it's ultimately like nighttime life and just like anxiety and just anxious kind of like scenarios as they gradually unfold in a slow burner kind of way. And that's exactly what this film feels like. I feel like aesthetically it reminds me of a lot of stuff, other stuff going on in the late 90s. Two films that makes me think the most of is the higher thriller energy of Lost Highway combined with a bit of like the loose feeling of The Big Lebowski, but less funny, I would say. But it has John Goodman in it. That's the main reason why. Nicolas Cage is perhaps never been better. It's one of my all-time favorite films because this is just kind of portraying a very particular brand of anxiety where you're just always in like this sort of urban rush and you can't ever slow down from all these haunting supernatural visions and you're just kind of haunted by ghosts eternally. That's kind of what the mood of this whole film kind of feels like. And it's kind of just a psychological examination of a man who gradually loses his grip on reality completely because he's just so clouded by all these anxious thoughts because of just the harsh scenarios he's getting to as a paramedic. I mean, he's just always on. He just can't turn it off. He can't ever sleep. He's just like a walking ghost. There's a lot of quirky moments. Like, there's some hilarious scenes all throughout this film. It has some wonderful energy behind it all. But it's very earnest all the same. And it's a very original kind of film, which is some of the best directing. From Scorsese, original directing. Like the film it reminds me the most of it, Tony, is actually Shutter Island. He would go on to do that, but this is my favorite take on that. Like for The Aviator kind of has that too. This is a very distinctive shade of Martin Scorsese throughout the 2000s. Started here in 1999. This is a kind of a new era. It feels like kind of being born of the 2000s, where he's more of like a thriller director than anything else. Like Aviator's a very thriller-esque biopic. The Part is a big old thriller. Shutter Island, he was just getting into thriller territory before the 2010s came around. He became kind of a reformed priest. This is a masterpiece. It's very haunting, and it just feels like it's a very spiritual examination of a man and a lot of just high energy situations and just a lot of stream of conscious kind of moments as they gradually unfold. New York City is just really portrayed in a unique kind of way where it's a little bit more of the insanity around it, where it's like it feels a little more like a little bit of a hellhole in Taxi Driver. It's always kind of a bit of a hellhole in Scorsese's eye, but here it's just somehow a little bit more sympathetic towards like the city. It seems a little subtly optimistic that the city has progressed into better places since the days of Taxi Driver and even After Hours. But still, he's just in an unfortunate situation, like just positioned about the entire way through. Like he's just under so much chaos in his spirit, and he just literally is on too much adrenaline to ever just really get a moment to find himself in this film. That's kind of, there's a slight messiness to the atmosphere, and I think that's the thing that's why this era, because I think this is a 2000 era, it's Martin Scorsese, and a lot of these films outside of Shutter Island are not popular because I think this is a very like messy kind of atmosphere. Because I think Martin Scorsese, I realize he's the king of master of like being an adventurous director and also just honing in on raw anxiety, and I think that this is just a very modern essence that's that's still, I don't know. So it's like there's an ADHD quality living inside of it. It's like the consequences and the negative of just having ADHD. And it's just, this is quite a perfect film in its own kind of way. I love Big Range too. There's just all kinds of like awesome stuff here. You got like Van Morrison and R.E.M. in the soundtrack. It's a very strange kind of soundtrack, but it's in the Clash for that matter. But it certainly just feels alive in a very unique way. It's just one of the most uniquely spirited Martin Scorsese films. And honestly, I recommend this film to anyone who loves a good Martin Scorsese film. I think it's, I don't even remember this being that bad content. I forget if it's even, I'm sure it's rated R because it's Martin Scorsese, but maybe it's, nevertheless, I recommend it to anyone who's interested in such a film like this, where it's, again, not quite the Taxi Driver or After Hours lens. It's just a lot more of just a isolation from just lack of rest, literally. It's like an experimental mood piece on that right there. So highly recommended.